going to be a short video about how to get into all things lower part of the body. So we are going to be opening into external hips, also stretching into quads, into the hamstrings, and into probably the inner thighs as well here, and a little bit of internal rotation. So everything low body focused. And why this is beneficial is because so many people do not know how to squat with heels down onto the floor. And you want to learn how to do this relatively comfortable so that you can hang out here and, I don't know, write stuff, eat food, doesn't matter. Also, sitting onto the floor is a basic one as well. A lot of people are really tight up into the hips and into the low back, and you might find that your knees are lifted and you're really curling, and this is quite uncomfortable. So being able to train your hips to sit upright like this with your back straight and your legs open in a comfortable position is really valuable for your general posture. Really healthy for the hips. So we'll get started. We'll actually get started onto a seat and we'll take the soles of the feet together. If you find that you're really curling back here like this and you find it difficult to sit up straight, then sit onto a pillow or something so that you can prop yourself up a little bit. Low back moves in and up. Grab hold of your shins and then take a breath inwards. You can even look up, extend through the chest. And then as you exhale, find a fold here. So your hips are in external rotation. If you can, try to bring your elbows over your shins. And then you're just going to fold and fold inwards here. So totally drop the head, the shoulders, the neck, the face, and especially the jaw, which we tend to clench onto when our hips are tight. And just take a couple moments to breathe here. And then slowly roll yourself back up. Bring your hands behind you so you move your butt towards your feet. Start to open the fronts of your feet up like a book opening, so your knees drop down, and then you can really squish the outer edges of your feet together as you pick up your hips, and that's a really deep sensational stretch in there as well here. Go ahead, set all of that back down. Bring your knees together, and then we'll come up into a lunge position. So right foot forward, left knee is back. And if you have any sensitivity in your knees, you can put that knee onto a pillow. And we'll just bring the hands to the hips to start off with. Put all the weight down into this front heel. And it doesn't matter if your knee extends over. It's actually kind of nice. You just never want that shape in the legs if your back knee is lifted, because that's too much pressure on the front knee. But if the back knee is lowered, that's fine. And you're getting into that left hip flexor here. And if you sit a lot, which a lot of us do, that gets short and tight. So this is a really good one to combat sitting. Another common tendency is you might find yourself kind of dumping into your low back here when you do so. And to deepen the stretch without putting pressure on your low back, you'll raise the front hip points so that your lower back can lengthen. And then you can resettle in. You won't go as deep at all, but you'll feel it a lot. Let's reach the left arm up. Get longer and taller and reach up, especially to the pinky finger. And you can rest your right forearm onto your thigh and just sway. We can look down, or fingertips can reach down. This top shoulder, try to roll it open. Nice. Take an inhale and then release. Fingertips can come down to the floor. Slide your back knee in a little bit. And then have a seat, and if you want, you can sit onto that pillow. If it's okay to sit all the way down with your left knee in this internal rotation here. This is half hero pose, and go ahead and sit down, and we'll take our hands behind, push into the right foot, pick up the butt, and then tuck the tailbone a lot, and you'll feel that into the left quad. Try to keep the knee down, and you can resettle in here. Now, for a lot of people, their quads are tight, and this is a lot of sensation. So stay upright unless you are invited by your body to go a little bit deeper, and you can come down onto the forearms here. I find that the more you push into your right foot and kind of pick up your butt a little bit off the floor and shoot through the quad of that left quad, you'll find a lot of sensation there without necessarily having to go all the way down and doing nothing here. Go ahead, bring yourself back up. Same way you came in. This is a nice stretch on the calf if you lean forward there and try to bring the heel down as well. It's a nice one. And then we'll just go ahead and change sides, left foot forward, right knee back. Bring your hands to your pelvis so that you can feel the neutral shape. And then start to sink down and down and down, feeling into that right hip flexor there. Once again, you can move that pillow under the knee, tuck the tailbone a lot. Left forearm's just going to come onto the thigh, right arm stretches up. Up, up, up and away. Breathe in. And then sway over to the left. You can look down and imagine your tailbone is going towards your front heel. You can sneak your fingertips down towards the floor. You're probably just going to hover, or you can keep them on that thigh. That's cool. Take one more inhale. And then release. So slide the back knee forward. And you want it so that the calf muscle is rolling out and the thigh is coming inwards. So it's one's going out, one's going in. Sit down onto either a couple of pillows if you're feeling quite tight, or right down the heel on the outside of the butt. And then you'll press into the left foot, pick up the butt, shoot the tailbone towards the back of the knee. You'll feel that a lot. And you can choose to lower, keep it lifted. So all these ways of coming into a position are options or ways to deepen or ways to modify, and you just have to explore your body, and there's no right way to do the pose. It's just finding the sensation that works for you. So if you're feels like your muscle is just going to rip off of the bone and you're gritting your teeth and you're just like, this is horrible, then don't go in so deep. Right at to your edge where you feel a lot of sensation, but your ability to breathe is completely under control. Another tendency here is that the knee wants to move over to the side. Try to keep it inwards there. And then as you come out, you'll just lean forward onto, it's getting a little stretch out into that left calf muscle here. This is one of my favorite stretches, this next one, lizard. Right foot comes forward again. So it's onto the outside of the hands, and then take the back foot back as much as you can. So this is a lizard lunge position here. I like to open the knee, so anchor down through the heel, pick up the toes, move the knee out as best as you can, and then set the outer edge of the foot down. What I often see here is that people turn the foot out, but the knee doesn't want to come with it. So if that's the case for you, you want your knee and your toes in the same direction. And this sensation is coming from the hip, this rolling open and dropping down. And then from here, you can stay upright, or lower down onto forearms. Now the floor might be really far away. Once again, you can take that pillow or something if you want, but if the floor is too far away, just keep the arms straight. A little sway from side to side is really nice. Another very intense way to get into your quads is to reach for it back here. Now, sometimes it's just too far away. So what you can do to grab that thigh is to come up out of the pose a little bit, then bring the heel to the butt first, and then re-sink down into it here. So heel to butt. And you're thinking about moving your right knee to the right and your left foot to the left as you settle into your hips. Nice. So my quads are really open, and I usually find that I like to nestle it in there, but if you're just grabbing the foot back here, if your butt is still way back here, that's totally fine too. Try to roll the chest open as you sink in. See if you can breathe. And then engage your left butt muscle so that when you let go of the foot, it doesn't just shoot away. You can release it down. Bring your hands to the inside. So your right foot is to the outside. Tuck your back toes under and then start to straighten the front leg here. So getting into the hamstring muscle. If your foot is forward, it's a little bit more difficult than if your foot is out to the side. If the floor is really far away, you can bring your hands up to your hips as well. And begin to sway into the hips here. Another thing that I see often is when the hamstrings are tight, there's a roundness in the back here, which is okay, but we want to put more into the hamstring here. So you can bend the knee and then stick the butt out. Draw the chest forward. And you'll probably feel a lot into the hamstring here. And then once again, if you want to go deeper, you can move the front foot forward or sneak the back foot back and move it forward, move it back. It is nice, once again, I'm not using any props, but I'm just telling you, if you want to use pillows or anything, you can place something nice, something high under that thigh so that you can settle in and rest your hamstring, rest your hamstring onto something there. And once again, if your hamstrings are really tight, you're way back here, that is exactly where you need to be. This is a starting journey here. Think about what your pelvis is doing. Cool. And then we'll change sides. So left foot forward, hands to the inside. Pick up the toes and then drop the left knee out. I'm going to go to this side again so you can see it a bit better. So dropping the left knee out from deep inside the hip socket here. The toes will come with you, so they're in the same line. And then settle into this hip stretch. You can sway from side to side. Choose if you want to come onto the forearms or if you want to stay upright. So if you're onto one forearm, see if you can put both forearms down equally if you're in that deep. Nice, a little sway, just open up into the hip here. Make sure that you pay a lot of attention onto this front foot and knee, that your foot's not out and your knee is in here. So they're right out beside each other. It takes a bit of playing around with to feel what that feels like. Now we'll take the quad stretch if you choose. This is a rather deep one, and there's a slightly better ones to get into the quad than going so deep. So you can draw your butt back, heel towards the butt, and then re-sink into it here. So you can drop your knee over to the left and move your right foot over towards the right. If you're way back here, that's good as well. You're doing two things at one time, opening the left hip and opening the right quad. And then at the same time, you're also twisting into the spine. So 3 things. 4 things. You include your breath. There's all these layers you can add on to not just deepen your stretch, but deepen your experience into your awareness, your ability to pay attention, into many noticings at the same time, rather than finding a shape and just right through it. It's a very moving, fluid, dynamic way to feel your body, even if it looks like you're just holding one position. Take one more inhale. Go ahead and release that. And then we'll find this half split. So back knee can come in a little bit. Lift the front toes off and then draw that butt back. You can come onto your, bring your hands towards your hips here and start to stick your butt out. And that will immediately deepen into that hamstring there. And notice that if you really want to go to the floor, but you're starting to round here like that, then just come up and work on this position here. Your knee could be quite sensitive like this as well. You can even sit down if you prefer and find the same action. But I'll stay in this half splits variation. I'll bring my hands to the inside of the foot, sway from side to side, just to explore all the sensations around. And then you can go ahead and deepen if you'd like. Nice. And then slowly come out of this position. We'll take a wide-legged forward fold. So sit onto your butt, heels over to the side. You can have a bend into your knees and you can sit onto a pillow as well to really emphasize this lower back coming in and up rather than the rolling back action. So your hands will come back behind. You'll sit up as tall as you can, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Some of you might need to stay right here. This is a forward fold, even though you're upright. If you're able to keep this lift and still come forward without rounding to come forward, then you bring your hands forward and lean forward. It's like you're trying to shoot your butt back behind you. See if you can keep your knees up, your toes curling in, and come forward, and find your depth. Maybe forearms can come down. And this is a big old stretch for the inner thighs here. Little sway from side to side. If you're upright, same thing. You can sway from side to side. Just ease into it. And if you're down low, come back up. Place your hands behind the backs of your knees so you can manually bend them. And then you'll drop the right knee open and close down the left knee. I like to think of this as the half of a swastika sign. So you've got 90 degrees in one leg, 90 degrees in the other. And then place your fingers over beside the front quad, lift up, and you can begin to fold over here. So maybe the elbows can come in front of the shins here. And then try to extend the crown of the head forward. The chest is really bright as well rather than the hunch. So even though you're into the hips, your awareness of the chest, the shoulders, the head is still vibrantly alive there. And then you're going to come back, change sides, so come through the middle. You can have your hands behind you to switch or not, and then do the half swastika on the other side. Lift up really tall. Both of your feet are flexed, which means that they're like this rather than any other way. It's like you're standing on the floor, basically. So they're flexed. Lift up, fold over. Maybe forearms can come in front of the shin. And this is a very similar pose to pigeon pose. Stay where you are, but I'll just demonstrate. Pigeon is often onto the shin with the back leg straight and folding over. But I feel like this deer position, it's called, is a little bit more forgiving than the straightening of the back leg there. So come back up and just sway from side to side a couple of times, and you can use your arms with you as well. So back and forward, you're working the external rotation and the internal rotation at the same time. Back through center, external, internal. Come back, and we'll lastly find a squat position. So come to a forward fold, your feet are slightly turned out, and then bring your elbows to the insides of the knees, stick your butt out, and lift your chest up like you're doing a little bit of a back bend here. And then choose how, if you want to move your feet a little bit closer, you stick your butt out, put it all the way into your heels, and then slowly lower your butt down. And your elbows are kind of pushing your knees out here. If you can come all the way down, that's awesome. And if it's a little bit stiff, a sway from side to side is good. I find a lot of people, if you can't come all the way down, you'll end up sitting onto the toes, which is all right. But try your very best to work the heels down. So your heels stay down, and if you can't go all the way down, you'll stay more upright. Another cool thing is you can hold on to like a post, something that's not going to move. Hold on to it, or maybe you can grab somebody's hands. They pull back, and then you really sit down, lean as far as you can, so with your heels down. But that pulling forward action is really nice to settle in quite deep there. And this is a very basic human movement to do, so it's pretty crucial to work this shape every day. See if you can do this every day. And your posture, the health of your hips, your low back, all this lower body stuff is going to be very thankful for it. I can keep going on with all these amazing stuff to do in the low body, but I'll try to keep these as short as I can, and that is it for now. Thank you for joining me.